Hello Wargamers. Today I want to talk a little bit about some of the information that we're getting on 7th edition and what that means for Tau. So, we don't know exactly what's going to be in the new rulebook, but we have some general ideas, some of the big changes, and so I wanted to talk about those. This video is not going to be super organized, but it's just some general thoughts that I thought might be worth thinking about in the days leading up to the new edition. So, first big change is that the allies matrix has changed significantly. Now you can ally with yourself no problem, so that means you can always bring an allied detachment of Tau if you wanted to, or Farsight. Farsight thing isn't new, but the Tau thing is kind of, and it's important for Tyranids as well, but that's a different story. But most importantly is that Tau are no longer battle brothers with anyone, and they're only allies of convenience with Eldar and Necrons. So that means that we no longer have access to psychic powers to buff our units, and we can no longer have a Farseer join any of our units. That's a really big deal because if you take a Farseer, you probably want him to be in a unit where he's going to be relatively durable. And we don't have access to Seer Star options with taking Eldar as allies. So that would mean generally putting him in with Riptide. And you can't do that anymore. A, because he's an ally of convenience now, but also because there's been rumored to be a change that independent characters can no longer join monstrous creatures at all. That's different than the rules used to be, where you could join monstrous creatures so long as they had more than one model, or had the possibility of having more than one model in the unit. But now ICs can't join monstrous creatures at all. And that's something I read last night from the 11th Company guys, I think, were saying that. And so those two things together, make Eldar not great for allies because you don't get access to their psychic powers. You still get access to jet bikes, but jet bikes, are they really worth bringing if you have to bring an HQ that's not going to really do a whole lot? If you bring Eldar allies and then you still want to bring a Farseer, he's only going to be able to buff those jet bikes. I mean, that's not really worth it, and they'll all just get wiped off the table right away. So that's a big problem if you want to play Tau with Eldar, or want to have the scoring and psychic options that Eldar offer. Additionally, this issue of independent characters not being able to join monstrous creatures poses a problem for Riptides as it is. Normally the way I run my Riptides is I have one joined by a Farseer, which I can't do anymore, and one joined by my buff commander, which I can't do anymore either. So that means that Riptides are a lot less reliable. And that's where a lot of the strength comes from. They are strong by themselves, but there's a really high, they're relatively unreliable in terms of landing the hits and doing damage. And so having that little buff commander or the Farseer with them to give prescience and guide really make a difference. And so that's not so great for Riptides. It also means that, what do you want to do with your buff commander now? Does he go in with a unit of crisis suits? If so, they're not going to be able to withstand as much punishment as a Riptide is. So his value in a unit of crisis suits goes down, assuming he's performing the same role with the buff options. So it's really more of a glass cannon at that point than it is with the Riptide. So is the commander still worthwhile? I don't know. We'll have to see what the rules say, but it seems like he might not be worth bringing if you're just bringing him for a unit of crisis suits, because for the amount of points you put into the commander, you could just bring another crisis suit team, which gives you double the amount of wounds and the same probability of landing a hit, basically. So I don't know. This also there's also the issue here where all units are scoring unless all units in a Battleforged army are scoring, and troops choices in a Battleforged army are able to override other scoring units. They have this rule called objective secured, so they basically trump anything else that's trying to get that objective, unless that other unit also has that same special role, and then it works as normal. So while Riptides might not be as reliable as damage dealers, they are actually scoring now, which is good. That's good. That's great. Unless, of course, you have an objective secured enemy next to you. So therein lies the problem. What should we do? Well, there's kind of two options. You can either go the route where you just want to kill everything, so there's nothing left, and so then you can just have your Riptide go sit on an objective and score it. That's one option. The other option is to have lots more objective secure guys and just kind of, throw them out there, death by 1,000 cuts almost, MSU style type thing. I think they're probably I'm not sure if the better strategy is somewhere in between. Sometimes if you try to, straddle that line, you end up, being jack of all trades and master of none, right? And sometimes it's just better to be master of one. So I'm thinking that potentially what I'm going to end up doing here is increasing the number of outflanking Kroot I have, just outflanking Kroot. I'm not going to bother with sniper rifles, not going to worry about anything like that, just throwing them out there, trying to snag objectives end game with objectives secured. Increasing the size of my fire warrior units, making them more durable because I want them to be able to go and contest objectives against enemy units and be able to withstand a little bit of firepower at least. And then beyond that, just taking Riptides and Broadsides like normal. So not a lot in the list is going to change, I don't think. I think a lot of it is going to be the same. What's going to change is that you can't take Oasis Star anymore. You can't put your commander with your Riptide. So it's going to be a very different style of play. And like I said, I might not even take a buff commander anymore. Maybe my commander will just go in with a unit of crisis suits, a bunch of shield drones, and give them tank hunter if they need it. But other than that, just give them a couple plasma rifles, something like that. I'm not sure. But it's definitely going to take some getting used to. These are big changes, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it too. So let me know what you think. What does the changes to scoring mean for Tau? What does it mean that we can no longer have Eldar allies? And what are you going to do with that buff commander now that he can't go hang out with a Riptide? So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have thoughts on that stuff or anything else. If you like the video, I think you know what to do. And of course, your comments and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Happy wargaming.